Gotti didn't just leave Memphis, now he's vanished from Dallas too. After new federal charges popped up with his name in the mix, dude made a fast exit.
And you knew that, just we're all clear here, that money came from CMG, right?
This comes hot on the heels of all the whispers linking him to the Young Dolph case. People are saying he's not just laying low and he's running. Right now it's looking like a game of cat and mouse between Gotti and the feds, and the walls are closing in fast. Some insiders say federal agents are digging into even more shady connections tied to his name. It ain't confirmed yet, but the timing, way too sketchy to ignore. This ain't just about some street beef anymore. His sudden cross-country, maybe even international, disappearance is raising major red flags. Rumors are flying that this could be the start of a heavy-duty Rico case, just like the one that snatched up Young Thug. And don't forget, during the Young Dolph trial, Cornelius Smith, one of the main suspects, allegedly testified that Gotti's late brother, Big Juke, was the one who gave the green light on the hit. Cornelius hit the stand and dropped a bomb. He said he and Johnson carried out the hit to snatch a $100,000 bounty that Big Juke supposedly put up. According to Cornelius, they were each promised $40,000, but he only saw $800 before getting locked up back in 2022. That detail right there, it's got folks talking heavy about CMG possibly getting hit like they're a full-blown criminal operation. If that Rico wave hits, it's gonna crash hard, and nobody's safe. Whack 100 already stirred the pot, saying Gotti's whole situation is starting to look a lot like what happened with YSL.
Didn't CMG pay for your attorney $50,000? Yeah. But they didn't give it to me. He said, yeah. But they paid for it because you killed Dolph, right? Yeah. Well, that was your compensation.
And when Whack talks, love him or hate him, the streets pay attention, even if he's always in some mess. But to keep it fair, not everyone's buying into the drama. Some folks are saying Gotti's move to Dallas wasn't just about dodging heat. He might have been handling real business. Word is he went out there to sign a local artist named Zillionaire Doe to CMG. And if you've been peeping Gotti's socials, that move lines up. Gotti was all smiles, flexing like he's just focused on business, showing off plans to open a CMG office in Dallas and expand the brand beyond Memphis into Texas turf. But even with that official story out there, people ain't exactly buying it. Music and meetings? Please, let's be real. Gotti's name has been ringing in the streets for years, and not just on some light stuff. He's rumored to have deep ties with some heavy movers, folks in the game pushing serious weight. And word is, he's especially close with cats dealing that white. Now that ain't small-time heat, that's federal fire. And don't sleep on Texas. The feds out there are no joke. Dallas authorities, they don't bark. They move in silence, stack solid cases, and when it's go time, they pounce quick. Everybody knows how it goes. Once that dope money starts circulating, the feds show up and history don't lie. Ain't no official word from the feds yet, but with all these dots getting connected and Gotti allegedly jumping from city to city, maybe even skipping across borders, people are starting to ask, is he ducking enemies or dodging the law? Gotti's been feeling pressure for a while now, and it's starting to look like the clock might be ticking.
News right now, we know the trial date for the man accused of killing Memphis rapper Young Dolph. Prosecutors say Hernandez Govan was the mastermind in the killing back in November of 2021.
Nobody forgot that Gotti used to be one of Dolph's biggest haters. Dolph even said it himself. Gotti tried to sign him, throw him a bag, give him a car, all that. But Dolph wasn't having it. And now, the last thing Gotti wants is to go out like his brother, Big Juke. We all saw how that turned out. Juke ended up being a major loss in the chaos that followed Dolph's death. Let's be real. This whole mess kicked off because Dolph had real power in the streets. He wasn't just winning in music, he was winning in the community. He had the kind of love and influence that made Gotti's grip on Memphis start slipping, and once that happened, everything changed. From the moment the news broke that Dolph was gone, everybody knew things were about to spiral out of control, because the streets already knew what was coming, retaliation, and they weren't wrong. Ever since Dolph got taken out, his people been spinning blocks and applying pressure to anybody even remotely connected to the hit. This ain't just about a famous face. Dolph was deep in the community. he didn't just rap about the struggle, he gave back to folks still living it every day. Dolph carried Memphis on his back year after year. He wasn't just talking, he was doing, feeding families, blessing schools, pulling up with cash for people who really needed it. Every Thanksgiving, he handed out turkeys, showed love during the holidays, and stayed locked in with the hood. Always. He even built a foundation named after his grandma Ida, all about giving back to the city that raised him. And who could forget that time at Duke University? 2 baristas got fired for bumping his track Get Paid. And what did Dolph do? He showed up and handed them $20,000 out of his own pocket like, y'all good till y'all land another gig. Who else is doing that? Every single year, he came through like Black Santa on K97, Memphis' own station, giving out gifts to kids who didn't have much. No clout chase, no cameras needed, just real love. And get this, just 2 days before he was gunned down, Dolph still pulled up to the West Cancer Center in Germantown to thank the staff in person. That place meant something to him. They treated his aunt, his grandma, and his uncle. That moment hit deep. Dolph was a real one, and a family man, a giver, and a straight-up pillar in Memphis. When he got taken out, the whole city felt that pain deep in their soul, and the tension hasn't let up since. The fallout from his death came quick and heavy. One of the first major consequences, the death of Darian DMO. Childs, a comedian, not a rapper, not a street guy, just someone who made the wrong move. DMO thought it was funny to hop online and joke about Dolph's death, like it was all for clout or laughs. But that turned out to be a deadly mistake. He probably figured it was just internet jokes, something to trend for a day. But Memphis ain't built like that. These streets don't forget, and they sure don't forgive when it comes to someone like Dolph.
When you selling that dope, feds coming. It's been the history of that. The feds coming when you start talking.
Not even a full week after posting those jokes, DMO was shot, just like that. No warnings, no time to backtrack. It wasn't just a tragedy, it was a statement. Memphis doesn't play about Dolph, and that moment made it crystal clear. This ain't some rap beef for the blogs, this is real life with real consequences. And here's where it gets even more intense. DMO was known to have ties to Gotti. As seen in this pic right here, they were at least cool on the surface. But maybe their connection ran deeper than folks realize. That's the kind of detail that gets people asking questions. Fast forward just a little, and the bloodshed didn't stop. In January 2022, Big Nusky, a rapper under Moneybagg Yo's Bread Gang label and cousin of Big 30, was gunned down right outside the New Horizon River Apartments. It was around 7 p.m., broad daylight, when the shots started flying. And once the smoke cleared, Nusky was gone, only 26 years old. But here's where it gets real spooky. This wasn't some random street shootout. The whispers in Memphis started instantly. Word was Nusky had ties to Justin Johnson, better known as Straight Drop, one of the main suspects in Dolph's murder. Then the receipts started showing up. Old pics of Nusky and Straight Drop chilling together started circulating. These two knew each other, no question. And once that came out, folks started wondering, was Nusky involved or was he just too close to the wrong name? Either way, the streets made up their mind quick. They didn't see it as random. They saw it as retaliation. And that was just the beginning. More names started getting crossed off, more bodies dropped, and a pattern was creeping in. Most of the people getting hit had some kind of alleged tie to CMG or Yo Gotti. Whether they were artists, close affiliates, or just caught standing in the wrong crowd, the connection was there. This stopped being about rap beef a long time ago. This was full-blown street war. Police had been watching him. The streets were buzzing, and everybody knew his time was running out. Then boom, June 14th, 2023, it all hit the fan. Around 12:56 p.m., cops got called to Spotswood Avenue near Bunton Street. What they found? Joshua Taylor, aka CEO Teasy, slumped inside a car full of bullet holes. But here's the chilling part. The scene wasn't fresh. Detectives believe he was actually shot the night before, and his body just sat there for hours, lifeless, until somebody finally noticed. Right outside a church, no less. Another major player taken out in this ongoing silent war that's been brewing ever since Dolph was killed. And just when folks thought things might calm down, it got even uglier. Enter Lotta Cash Desto. She was an upcoming female rapper, shining bright, flashy, talented, on her way up in the game. She had nothing to do with Memphis beef. She was in Houston riding around with a friend around 2:40 a.m. on the 5500 block of Richmond Avenue. They were chilling, stopped at a red light behind a dark-colored four-door car, and then out of nowhere, it all went left. Two shooters hopped out and unloaded on her ride. It was chaos. Desto got hit multiple times and died right there on the scene. Her friend caught some bullets too. Bad, but somehow managed to survive. Then it hit everybody. Lotta Cash Desto wasn't just any rising star. Her dad is Hernandez Govan. Yeah, that Govan. The same man accused of being the mastermind behind the hit on Young Dolph. He's the one the authorities say set the whole thing in motion. So even though Destiny had nothing to do with that street drama herself, she ended up paying the price for what her father allegedly did. That's when folks realized nobody is off limits. Not your crew, not your friends, not even your own blood. After what happened to Desto, things got way darker. And the score settling? It didn't stop. The message was ice cold. If you're tied to Dolph's enemies, you could be next. Some folks speculated maybe Desto got caught up by accident, just in the wrong place with the wrong last name. But the streets, they didn't see it as random. To them, it felt like another calculated hit, a quiet shot fired by Dolph's people, and they were far from finished. Fast forward to August 18th, 2023. It's 9:30 in the morning, broad daylight. Memphis police roll up to a BP gas station on South Parkway East after getting a call. What they find? A man laid out, shot dead on the pavement. Turns out that man was Temanuel Benson, Black Youngster's brother. And here's what made jaws drop. The alleged shooter, Randy Ewing, didn't even bother to wear a mask. No disguise, no attempt to hide. Just walked up and handled business in the open like he didn't care who was watching. Now that's a statement. They pulled up, handled their business, and dipped. No mask, no fear, no care about cameras or witnesses. It was bold, reckless, and straight in the open. The police got such a clear look at the suspect, they didn't waste time. Blasted his face all over the media and threw out a $5,000 reward for any tips. That's how serious it got. Now let's rewind a bit. Black Youngster and Young Dolph had real beef, the type that ran deep. Don't forget, back in 2017, Youngster got arrested after more than 100 shots were fired at Dolph's bulletproof SUV in Charlotte. Charges didn't stick, but that tension, it never went anywhere. Youngster stayed throwing shade, dissing Dolph in tracks, trolling him on socials nonstop. But fast forward to now, the same street energy he dished out came crashing back. Losing his own brother, that's a cold dose of reality. Suddenly, all that clowning around didn't hit the same. And while Youngster was feeling that pain, folks started pointing fingers at Gotti too. For a long time, Gotti moved like he was untouchable, like all the chaos around him couldn't touch him. But that shield started cracking. Word on the block was Gotti's own mother almost got caught up in the mess. Let that sink in. His mama was nearly a target. She made it out safe, thank God. But his brother Big Duke, not so lucky. And here's where it gets chilling. Big Duke wasn't in the trap or at some late night club. He was at a funeral, a place meant for peace. He was mourning the loss of OG Eric Baldwin. A clip even surfaced showing him and Gotti standing by the casket looking somber, not knowing death was circling them next. What most folks missed in that funeral video was two men posted in the back watching Duke's every move like hawks. They weren't just there to pay respects, they were lurking, waiting for the perfect moment. And they found it. After the service, when the crowd shifted to the repast at Parant's Restaurant and Event Center on Winchester Road, that's when they made their move. Yo Gotti didn't show up to the repast, but Big Duke did. And get this, Gotti's own mom was allegedly in the car with him when he walked out. That still didn't stop what was coming. As soon as Duke got into the car, gunfire erupted. The car got lit up, sprayed with bullets right there in the parking lot in broad daylight. Somehow Gotti's mom made it out alive by pure luck or grace. But Duke, he didn't make it. That was the moment the message was made loud and clear. Anyone who had a hand in taking Dolph out was a target, and the payback wasn't stopping. Multiple sources confirmed Big Duke was shot and killed. He was rushed to the hospital, but it was already too late. And just to add more weight to the setup, surveillance footage picked up a white SUV with no tags speeding away right after the shots rang out. This wasn't some sloppy street beat. This was a planned hit. Police are now searching for a white Ford Explorer, tinted windows, black rims, the whole ghost ride package. Witnesses saw it peel off from the scene like they knew exactly what they were doing. No hesitation, no confusion. Big Duke wasn't hiding his feelings, not even close. He threw shade at Dolph's team, flashed stacks of cash online, and was even caught on video straight disrespecting a mural of Dolph. That kind of energy always circles back, and in Duke's case, it came back hard. But hold up, this rabbit hole goes deeper. One of Dolph's artists, Grove Hero, had already called Duke out hard. Right after Dolph was killed, Grove Hero went live and accused Big Duke of putting up $40,000 to get Dolph knocked off. And Grove wasn't sugarcoating anything. He made it real clear. If he ever ran into Duke, it was on sight. No back and forth, no warnings, just action. He didn't stop there either. Grove dropped names. He said Gotti, Migo, and Youngster were all part of that circle, like this wasn't just street tension. It was a full-blown hit list. And let's be honest, even before all that, Duke was moving shady. He was spotted hanging out with people who were deeply tied to Dolph's murder, including CEO Teasy and Hernandez Govan, the same man accused of masterminding the entire hit on Dolph. With those kinds of links, the streets weren't just watching, they were waiting. Duke might have thought he was untouchable, but every move he made was being clocked. And when you zoom out, it all leads back to that long-standing beef between Yo Gotti and Young Dolph. That drama been simmering since way back in 2014. Dolph was on the come-up, building his own lane in Memphis, and Gotti wanted to bring him into CMG. But Dolph wasn't having it. He didn't want to play second to nobody. He had his own vision, his own empire in mind. And Gotti, he didn't take that rejection lightly. By 2016, Dolph was out here tweeting, "Bro went from my #1 fan to my biggest hater." That line hit harder than most diss tracks. Then came the move that lit the whole fuse. Dolph dropped his King of Memphis album, straight up snatching the title Gotti had already crowned himself with. That wasn't just a flex, that was a shot. And of course, Black Youngster couldn't help but jump in and turn the heat all the way up. He was online talking wild, threatening Dolph, and even pulled up to Dolph's old hood flashing guns like it was a movie. But it wasn't just tough talk, things got real. Dolph's SUV got sprayed with over 100 bullets, but thanks to the bulletproof whip, he walked away. Later that same year, it got worse. He got shot again, this time in LA, right outside the Shoe Palace. This wasn't a close call. Dolph got hit multiple times, and here's where it got even messier. Word on the street was that Dolph and Gotti were staying at the same hotel when it all went down. Things popped off between their entourages, and next thing you know, shots fired. Yo Gotti was even named a person of interest in that case. He ended up facing attempted murder charges, but they got dropped. Still, that moment made it loud and clear this was way past rap. This was real-life warfare with bodies dropping. And now, years after Dolph's death, the fallout is still claiming lives. Big Juke is gone, affiliates are dropping, the streets are buzzing heavy, and people are starting to see the pattern. Is this karma? Is it revenge? Whatever it is, that circle is getting tighter and lonelier for the ones still standing at the top. So what do you think happens next? Is Yo Gotti even safe anywhere he goes now? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button if you're still with us, and don't forget to subscribe for more of The Real. We'll catch you on the next one.